David, thanks for being here today.
My honor to be with you, Doctor.
Great to have you. You are someone who believes in Christian cultural engagement, and you happen to do it through the field of law. Many people may not be aware that we took the leap and decided to file suit against the Southern Poverty Law Center. We wouldn't have done that without your help and your counsel and your advice. It was a big step, wasn't it?
Absolutely. And for folks that may not be familiar with the case, what happened is Southern Poverty Law Center said that D. James Kennedy Ministries is a hate group because they believe the Bible and because they believe that marriage should be between a man and a woman and homosexuality is a sin. Now, that's obviously defamatory. That's not true. It's a lie intended to destroy this organization. Interestingly then, Amazon takes what Southern Poverty Law Center determines by whatever standard they use and denies services and privileges to the ministry. And so we felt that in this culture where the baker is being sued in Colorado and where the florist is being sued in Washington and all these other cases where Christians are being told you have to provide services to people you disagree with, that Southern Poverty Law Center shouldn't be able to defame us and lie about us, and Amazon should have to provide services to D. James Kennedy Ministries like they do every other organization. And we asked them, please remove us from the list. They wouldn't do it. We asked Amazon, please treat us fairly. They wouldn't do it. And so this ministry had only one choice, which was to go to court and see if the court would uphold our rights to be treated fairly under the law. What D. James Kennedy Ministries is doing under your leadership, and certainly in the esteemed tradition of Dr. D. James Kennedy himself, is taking the truth of the Word of God, the Christian worldview, and we are proclaiming it for all to hear and understand. So the lost can come to know Christ, so the Christians can be educated, edified, and encouraged, and to boldly declare. I love the book of Acts, chapter 4, verse 29. It says the early church prayed, we behold the threatenings that are all around us, but they asked the Lord, give us boldness to declare the truth of your word. And I'll never forget Dr. Kennedy. He said, you know, if you just reach one soul for Christ a year, disciple them well enough to reach one soul for Christ a year, and then go do it again, we could reach our world for Christ in under 40 years. And as you look at the simplicity of Christians just sharing their faith and reaching one person at a time, it's time for God's people to come out of the closet and to be encouraged and empowered. That's what D. James Kennedy Ministries is all about.
Talk to me a little bit about the importance of the people, the partners and supporters in D. James Kennedy Ministries that have helped us take this case thus far, and really being realistic about it. It's going to be a long and expensive fight, isn't it?
Absolutely. And folks need to understand litigation is just inherently expensive. I mean, forgetting the dynamic of just going to court and the travel and other things that are involved, but just a court reporter sitting there for a day and all of a sudden you get a $2,000 bill. And the filing fees and then the other events. And I mean, quickly litigation can be into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that's not even calculating attorney's fees or other things. And so you never go into litigation not expecting it to cost significantly. And so for D. James Kennedy Ministries, it was a step of faith. The decision was, we don't have these funds as an organization, but we know this is right. And we believe that we serve a God that if we step forward in faith, that he will touch the heart of those. And this ministry has been blessed with supporters that there's times you wonder, but the Lord just always seems to, at the right moment, touch the heart of a donor, or an estate may come in, or someone that loved this ministry. And so the folks that have stood for this case, I would encourage you to continue to pray fervently. If you can help support, we would be very grateful. D. James Kennedy Ministries is very careful with every donated dollar, but this is going to be a very expensive and a long fight, but it's one that's important, not just for this organization, but for every Bible-believing person. We could find a day where all of a sudden the Silicon Valley says, well, wait a minute, you go to that church, you're not allowed on our sites. Oh, you believe that, or you want to post a Bible verse? Nope, that's not allowed. And somebody says, oh, I can't imagine that level of censorship, that they would just ban the Bible and the Christian message. That's exactly what they're doing. And if we don't prevail in this case, there'll be nothing to stop them from imposing their viewpoint, their perspective on the nation, and the people of this country. The Christians and churches will have no recourse whatsoever.
Well, David, I want to thank you for your leadership in this arena and also for your service on our board. It gives us great confidence and courage to know you're standing with us with your vast experience in the courtroom. And we're looking for God to do great things. Thanks so much for being with us.
It's my honor, and I certainly appreciate you and your leadership and look forward to many great days of service together.
Amen.